I'm Sarah Colvin, and we are gearing up for the 23rd, I believe, session of Inside Barnstable Town Government. And to talk a little bit about the experience, I welcome Precinct 10 Town Councilor Sara Cushing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you, of course, are a graduate of Inside Barnstable Town Government.
I am, yes.
So really excited. I love, when we talk about promoting IBTG, we really talk about how it's designed to connect residents with the services the town provides, but also encourage civic engagement. And obviously, as a town councilor, you have taken the leap to go from that informational class to sitting on one of our elected boards. So talk to me a little bit. Let's go back to when you came to Barnstable. What made you want to take Inside Barnstable Town Government?
So I had moved from off Cape, from over the bridge, and I really wanted to learn more about my community. So it seemed to make a lot of sense to explore more of what's between the four walls of Town Hall and other services and departments, and what people are doing in our community. And I don't know if you remember, but you had connected me actually, and I read a little bit more about it and decided it was something that I wanted to do. It is a commitment. I mean, I think it's every Thursday or every other Thursday, if I remember correctly.
Yep, and I think they've switched the days down to Tuesday, but
okay.
It's once a week.
Yep, for a few hours. So it's very intense and it's very programmatic, and you really get a taste of all of the departments and the services and the people who are leading those departments and what they're doing for Barnstable.
So did you have any expectations going into this course as to what you're hoping to get out of it?
Not really, no. I think I was just sort of put my school hat on and wanted to learn more about what everyone, where my taxes are going and who is in charge of the department where the guys come down the road and plow my street. From what's the library system like, and who was our town manager. I met Tom Lynch on the first night, and that was really spectacular. So. Yeah.
Absolutely. So did you have the intent that you wanted to continue in public service before you began, or was that something that developed as you went through the course?
It developed as I went through the course. I learned a lot more about our boards and commissions as well. That was where I made my first step, was to get involved, and there were several boards that were looking for volunteers, and so I had applied and met with the appointments committee and was appointed to the Economic Development Commission, which was kind of my first foray, which was really great, and then that led me to wanting to do more and make more of an effort and strategic involvement in town government, and that's what led me to run for town councilor.
Wonderful. And so talk a little bit about your experience going through the course. Are there specific sessions or information that you found particularly valuable or really gained some insight from as you went through the 11 weeks?
I think my favorite was Mark Milne's presentation, who's our finance director, really gave a good lay of the land on how his department, in partnership with the town manager and assistant town manager, are really managing the finances of the town. And I found it very fascinating and very informative, and gave a good scope of that very, very important part of our functioning a town government.
And I think that's a real testament to our finance director's ability to make those complicated issues something that is interesting. I mean, when you think about
interesting, yes,
touring the HYCC or going over to the police department or the Department of Public Works, and then you say the financial presentation was the most interesting, and we know from talking with Mark on a weekly basis just how great he is at explaining that stuff and really giving you the wow, this makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to say dumbing down because I wouldn't want to insult Mark, because he doesn't dumb it down, but he does make it very palatable and interesting for people who aren't doing that work every single day, which is something that he brings to his work when he does presentations to the council as well. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. And you mentioned the police department. That was really cool too, because you got to see parts of BPD that you typically wouldn't unless you're arrested, and understanding how they're running over there and the work that they're doing in our community for our citizens was also really interesting.
Absolutely. So what would you say to someone who may be on the fence or just learning about this program and say, well, I'm not sure if this is for me? What would you say to someone thinking about taking the class?
I would recommend reaching out to Sue and the gentleman who's now running it in Meg's place, Arthur. Yeah, and maybe just sitting down with him and having a conversation and getting a better understanding of what it entails. I think it's a really great way to learn more about your community. I was raised to be involved, and that was a given. And this was really a nice step for me to be able to do that. I think it's a nice step for others. You also really, I think they cap the class at like 20, maybe 30 people. So you're with these people every single week for a few hours, and you really meet a lot of people that you typically wouldn't, and knowing why they started the class and what brought them there, and then seeing some of them. There are a handful of people who were in my class that went on to boards and commissions and who are serving our government too, which is really fantastic to see. So it's just there's sort of that camaraderie as well, and it's fantastic. It's very well run, and it's very well done, and is a great way to kind of get your feet wet and understand what's going on here.
Absolutely, and I went through the course myself a couple years before you did, and really did, and I was not working for the town at the time, and now I'm here at the town, and it really, as you say, it does give you that really intense look at how everything operates. And I think that for those who might have some mild understanding, it's when you think about government as a whole, there's a lot to take in.
Yes.
And what the designers of this program have done is really done a good job at giving you that look as to how the government works.
Yeah, making it very palatable and easy to understand, because there are so many moving pieces. I think a lot of people think, there's a town manager and then there's a town council, but there are so many different pieces and parts and people who are involved in making everything run day to day. And this class really gives you a sense of what that work is and who those people are. And really, one of the things I thought was great when you meet all of the department heads and some of their staff through all these classes, I walked away very confident with the people who are running these departments, and they're engaging and bright and bring a lot to the table, and committed to Barnstable, which is exactly what we want for our leaders. So.
Do you find that having that base helps you make decisions as a town councilor?
Yes, it definitely gives me a greater insight of what many of the pieces are. I'm certainly not a subject matter expert on all of the departments by any stretch, but it really laid the foundation and gave me a strong understanding on what are the moving parts and who are the decision makers and how are they making their decisions and that.
Excellent. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for stopping by, and
thanks for having
hopefully
me.
We've encouraged some people to join the upcoming class.
I hope so.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Sarah Cushing, of course, Barnstable Town Councilor, Precinct 10. You can find out more information on Inside Barnstable Town Government on the town's website, and you can pick up applications at the town manager's office. For Barnstable This Morning, I'm Sarah Cushing.